stories here early in 2022 was what we believe will be a couple of noticeable absences at the 2022 SEMA show in Las Vegas. We've seen news break recently that Ford will not be displaying at the SEMA show in 2022. We found out earlier this week that Chevrolet as well was conveniently gone from the SEMA floor plan, as well as Honda. So I'm just curious. I want to get your guys' perspective on this. I mean, I guess just initial reactions, heartbreak. How do you feel about going to SEMA this fall and not seeing those massive displays from those massive automotive manufacturers?
It's going to be a bummer, man. It definitely, having those companies there. I know SEMA, being an aftermarket show, focuses on all the thousands of other companies that are exhibiting there, and it sort of kind of feels like a luxury or icing on the cake to have these the OEMs display there, but it really brings a legitimacy to the whole deal.
Yeah, it's like
and
it's like a clout.
It's high tide lifts all boats, right? And when you just walk in and see half the show is dominated by General Motors and Ford and all these other OEMs, and to not have them, it sort of puts a damper on it. And I don't know what all is going on behind the scenes or what is driving this. Actually, Scott Malpass sent us a good video. I don't know if he sent you guys this video. Sent it to me. S3 magazine, which covers imports and some other stuff. Actually a pretty well-known print magazine. They do a good job with their social media. The guy that runs that deal sort of had a video about what he believes is going on with this whole situation. And really the biggest takeaway for him is that marketing is the first thing to get cut when these companies see a recession on the horizon. And that, to him, more than anything, these companies pulling out of SEMA, it signals that they know, because they've got all the connections, they got their ear to the ground as far as the entire world economy and supply chain more than anybody, that a recession is coming. And I think that to me, more than the fact that it's going to be a bummer not to see these cool cars and everything at SEMA, that is the most worrisome part of the whole deal.
Because an argument can be made, get the hell out of the way, right? You're not making aftermarket stuff. You know, you're not, I mean, I think an argument can be made like, good, you can clear up some premium real estate for some of the smaller businesses that exist in our space.
Well, think of the events they did out there, though. You know, we used to go to
build cars.
Was it Tuesday?
Was it Tuesday night? The whole Hoonigan burnout
outside
drift deal was sponsored by
Ford.
One of these,
Ford.
Yeah.
And then GM. We on Tuesday nights, I think, was it Tuesday nights?
They throw that big party.
They actually haven't done that in the new models, years, right, Wes? They haven't had that deal. I think the last couple times we went to SEMA that we inquired or asked, or were expecting to hear about that GM unveil.
I think the last one we went to, like Kid Rock was up on stage or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was I think that was probably like 2015 or 16 was the last time they did that deal.
Well, they fed and drank us. Those
were the good times. And unfortunately, SEMA is viewed. Another point that was made in an automotive group that we're in, Wes, is that this deal is really more about catering to their employees and to vacations and luxury experiences for their key employees. And so, again, that's one of the first things to get cut.
I think it's just, there's a couple things. The thing that drives me crazy is that I don't like the way this looks. I can make an argument, right, for why it doesn't make sense. I mean, we've actually skipped SEMA in the past because we don't want to spend $20,000 or whatever on hotels. I mean,
go to Las Vegas, man.
It's expensive to go to Las Vegas for fun.
What these companies, and that's what SEMA's probably battling, is that whatever year this deal started, wasn't it like in the 60s or something?
Yeah. Vegas changed.
Vegas was like a hotel room for $2 and steak buffet for $1 or whatever. Now Vegas is, dude, you can go. I think you can go anywhere in the world for the same amount of money you spend to go to Vegas.
Yep.
There's no doubt about it, man. I mean, $20 drinks, $100 dinners, $100 plate, at a dinner. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. But I do think that there's an argument that could be made, like pull all the way out, like don't even be involved. Like, couldn't you scale back? Couldn't you not send the entire company? Could you not build 47 concept vehicles that are never going to see production? I mean, there surely would be a way to maintain your support of the industry. Because I think about this, man, the people that buy, this is an argument I've made for a long time when it comes to pro mod specifically. I would have people tell me the reason the major auto manufacturers don't get involved in pro mod was because the body styles were old cars, right? It was 69 Camaros, not new Chevy Sparks or whatever, just as a reference.
They haven't looked at pro mod in the last couple of years then.
Well, right. But I mean, my point on it is that the reason I'm a fan of Chevrolet, the reason Wes Buck's a Chevy guy, has nothing to do with a electric Hummer or a Chevy Spark or the new SS. I mean, the reason my love affair with Chevy was built on the back of Corvettes and Camaros from the 60s and 70s. And I think that just by like turning your nose up at all that stuff, I mean, the reason my wife's driving a Chevy Tahoe is because I'm a Chevy guy. Like I like Camaros and the old car. Like they won me over via that. Right. And I think that GM, you know what I mean? And I think that Ford, all these companies,
non-GM vehicle,
they're turning their nose up, or they're kind of ignoring the fact that these relationships that so many people have with their brand, it has nothing to do with the car that they're putting out this year, or their effort to go green, or their effort to move into the electric space, or whatever. They're in love with this stuff because of the types of cars and the community of people that show up at SEMA and that are littered across the show floor there. So it does seem a touch short-sighted, in my opinion. I mean, I get it, saving money. It's a recession on the horizon. I get it. I totally understand it. But it does feel like there would be a way to either slowly exit, right? Or not have it just look like there's something awry.
There's something. And maybe we'll get some more intel on this when we go to the PRA membership headquarters grand opening tomorrow.
Maybe they just use the recession as an excuse. Like, yes, it does cost a ton of money. And, but we've seen that so far during COVID and the pandemic and everything else that's happened. I mean, we have seen that companies
business is booming.
Yeah, it's booming, especially in motorsports. So, but maybe they just use that as an excuse. I think that happens a lot in a lot of businesses right now. Like, oh, sorry, we have a limited menu. Still, I mean,
right? Yeah,
you can't make a salad.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with race team owners who talked about, as hard as COVID was, it helped them make some decisions that saved them a lot of money, and they've continued to hide behind it. Like one of the best example is I had from a high level guy. I've said high level and lean into like 100 times today, but whatever. I talked to a team owner / driver who told me one of the fringe benefits or the silver lining of the COVID deal for him was that he could justify telling everybody they had to share hotel rooms, right? Because he had a whole team of guys, prima donnas. Everybody wants their own space. Everybody wants their own room, right? They want to walk around with their underwear on or whatever and have their own space.
JT does that
no more,
whether he's got a roommate or not.
No more, right? Because now everybody's bunking up. And they're never going to probably have to have that conversation again because they've trained everybody.
Mike loves bunking with me.
Yeah,
it's among my favorite things.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. But I was just curious what you guys' thought on this was. I mean, kind of we'll move on to the next thing because but it's definitely a bummer. I really hate it. I can't imagine how the SEMA show is going to look. And I get it. It's
going to give a bunch of other companies the same excuse, right? Like, well, Ford and Chevy did it too. We could do it as well and save a bunch of money.
But we may see other companies. We talk about Toyota a lot and the marketing that they're doing, especially in drag racing.
It's wide open for them right now.
Maybe we'll see a company like Toyota step up and take that huge spot.
Or Dodge.
Maybe Dodge. Maybe these other companies will see it as an opportunity to take market share from Ford and GM.